Donald Trump popped off about hostage releases in Gaza. Let's take a look.
If the Israeli hostages are not released by the time he takes office in January. Now, it's not clear what he means by that threat. On Saturday, Hamas released a propaganda video of an American-Israeli soldier, Eden Alexander's his name. He's been held there since the October 7th massacre. Deborah Pata shows us a new strategy by the hostages' families in Israel.
They have tried shouting, pleading, anger. Nothing has worked. They have lost their words. So now they have gone quiet.
The protesters here hope that their silence will speak more powerfully than any words. But the message remains the same in home now.
Dressed in white, young and old, united in anguish. This is where their loved ones are, held captive in Gaza. Everyone is worried that time is running out to save them, as it did for Nofar Bushtaf's brother Yogev.
He should be alive and here with us today.
Many protesters here believe Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is deliberately prolonging the war to avoid his upcoming corruption trial.
We are all slaves of his...
I mean, that is what's going on. That's like part of it. Yes. I'm glad that the media can only frame it from the perspective of like Israeli hostage families openly recognizing the truth and yelling about it. But this is no longer a matter of speculation. It's just the truth. Yes, of course they're calling for a ceasefire. Yes, they have been. And these are not, I mean, this is something that I talked about 3 months ago. It's something that I talked about even before 3 months ago. It's just the thing that is happening.
Private interest.
I think Israeli government doesn't want to, have this deal.
This is not Jewish. This is not Israeli.
And it's not right, says Herut Nimrodi, who feels her son Tamir has been abandoned.
It's very hard for me to remember his voice, his laughter. Things are starting to fade away, and it's horrifying.
And so she seeks solace in the power of this sisterhood. Together, they weep and softly sing. They are daughters, sisters, wives, and most of all, they are mothers.
There are still 101 hostages in Gaza. There is a new deal on the table in Cairo in another push to end the war and bring those still alive back home and the bodies of those killed for burial.
Also, Donald Trump was like, there will be hell to pay. So Hamas came out with a statement. New statement from Hamas by way of Jeremy Scahill of Drop Site News. Hamas responds to Trump threat that there will be all hell to pay in the Middle East if the Israeli hostages are not released before Trump's inauguration. Statement from Bassem Naim of Hamas's Politburo. 1. Since the beginning of this genocide, Hamas has publicly announced and been active in seeking a permanent ceasefire to the end of the Israeli aggression against our people, a deal which would have included a full prisoners exchange. Number 2. However, Netanyahu has sabotaged all these attempts. At many times, we were extremely close to signing on a deal. But due to his savage actions and decisions, the deals broke down. Therefore, Hamas understands that Trump's message is actually directed first towards Netanyahu and his government. They need to end their evil game by using negotiations as a cover for their personal, political, ideological interests. Yeah, I don't think Trump is saying this to Netanyahu. I'm gonna keep it $1.50. I think he's saying he's gonna increase the faucet of genocide. Not that it matters because you're already in the throes of genocide. At that point, it's like they're doing, it's kind of the maximalist position, right? Hamas is committed to immediately implementing the Security Council Resolution 2735 and the deal struck on July 2nd, 2024. We are looking forward to the daytime seeing an end of this genocide against our people, their free return back to their homes all over the Gaza Strip, and prisoners from both sides freed and enjoying living amongst their families again. Our people are eager to secure a better future for their children, full of hope, dignity, and prosperity. Jeremy says, a couple thoughts. Trump's bombastic threats to unleash some untold horror if the Israelis and U.S. captives are not released occurs as the ceasefire talks have resumed. This is important to note. I think Trump wants to take credit for it if there is potentially a ceasefire even before the inauguration. Hamas is not going to do something or tremble in fear because of Trump's threats to future action. The timing does indicate Trump is looped in on the potential deal being negotiated and wants to set himself up to take credit for any success in the release of the hostages. It is also true that Netanyahu's repeatedly sabotaged deals that would have seen the release of the Israeli and U.S. captives held in Gaza. Many hostages have died as a result of Israeli attacks and a total refusal to make a deal to secure their release. The only difference is if Israel is the party that is not corresponding and Israel is the party that is routinely fucking up the hostage negotiations, and Benjamin Netanyahu feels comfortable with Donald Trump and feels like Donald Trump will have his back if there's any sort of like internal political persecution, or the prosecution of Benjamin Netanyahu continues for corruption, and Donald Trump gives Benjamin Netanyahu assurances that he will protect his political career and will ensure that he is not prosecuted, then he might be more responsive to a ceasefire negotiation, especially if he thinks that Donald Trump will most likely, backed by Miriam Adelson, allow the permanent annexation and occupation of at least North Gaza. So I think that is the only way that a ceasefire is implemented. Benjamin Netanyahu does whatever he wants under Biden. And now that he got his wishes and Trump is president, he still gets to do whatever he wants. And now he gets to avoid potentially some political persecution.